G'day, Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs, episode 26. Addin Fonua-Blake, apparently we've pulled out of the race for him. So I'm going to talk about that. What are the pros of that? What are the cons of that? And what's some of the stuff I've heard going around social media? We'll continue to talk a little bit about Jerome Luai. But I want to launch our competition. So what we'll do is I'll give it after they return from the Christmas break, I will launch the competition then. So just in case there's another player that leaves the top 30 or another one that comes in, we'll give it until after they return from Christmas, and then we'll launch it. You name your top 7. That's the 17 players that you believe will be selected in round 1 against Parramatta. And it's not the team named on Team Tuesday. It's the team that runs out. So they might be an injury. The team that's named 1 hour before the game starts is what will be declared the winning team. And your entries will be in possibly 2 months or 3 months before the game is even starts. So it's going to, and the people that get the closest. So if you get them all right except for one player, for example, if that's the closest, and you've got another entry number, if there's a few entries there where you one player out or someone actually nails it and gets the team that runs out for week 1, you'll get the option to pick from a handful of different bits of merchandise. It could be a scarf, it could be key rings, mugs, a hat. There's all different sort of stuff. There's a bunch of hats that I have that I've never worn that are like brand new. Could be a calendar for this year, which has still got Jake Averillo on it. It's got players that aren't with us anymore on it. Yeah, so we'll launch that the week that they return. I'll do a podcast. Make it clear you'll need to comment on YouTube and potentially Facebook, maybe share it. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. I'll make the rules clear cut then. And the winning entry, if there's numerous, there's a couple I might, let's just select to flip a coin to see who picks first and give 2 winners something. But if there's more than that, I might just do a random number generator and see who the winner is that way. But I've got a feeling there's not going to be too many that predict the outcome. And, I'm not expecting, thousands and thousands of entries either. So there will be a little bit of free merchandise in there. And who knows what I'll get for Christmas, hopefully. Hopefully I'm getting some more Bulldog stuff for Christmas. Got a fair bit of members stuff coming on the way as well. So I'll see if there's anything there that tickles your fancy. But that'll be interesting. I'm going to put on the teams that I think will be picked already. I'll show you that. It'll be scrolling along the bottom. And you'll also see the team that which will continue to evolve, that I think they should pick. It's just something I like to do. I know there's a lot of fans love getting out there and writing out their best 17. It's something I like to do. I've always liked to do it. I like to do that with the Origin team and the Australian team, like the Queensland team as well, New South Wales team. It's just something I like to do. So we'll see how it goes. Well, let's talk about Addin Fonua-Blake. I'm also going to talk about some of the other options that are on the market that we can look for and why, and some of our up-and-comers as well. You'll see them scrolling along the bottom at the moment. But the report was made that Addin Fonua-Blake were pulled out of the running. Now, let's be frank. All right, it's a double-edged sword here. We need a prop. We need a proven prop. We need a daily and winning prop. We need a big prop in our club. Just like we needed an experienced halfback when they were talking about Ben Hunt. We need these players. We do. Now, whilst the players we've got there are only going to get better and better, if you bring in that experience now that's proven, it just enhances everything that the others around them can do. And you need a player who's not selfish. You need a player who leads and helps others and leads the way for others in the side. Now, I think they've got that in a number of the players they've brought to the club, as far as players that work hard, are all effort-based players that play with passion and pride and that sort of thing, and really work hard with what they've got. But we don't have that size. And right now, as it stands, unless the players we've got continue to improve and evolve, and I'd expect players like Max King and Ryan Sutton to be better for the run. I expect that Samuel Hughes is going to take a big step up as well. I expect Chris Patolo is not going to be hit by the same lightning he keeps getting hit by. And he's going to have a good season as a Canterbury Bankstown Bulldog in first grade. That's what I expect this year. I expect there's going to be some surprises coming from the youngsters that you see, because there has to be. Because if it's not, you're going to see the same stuff where we've got forwards being caught one out, and our hooker being caught one out, and post-contact meters just rising through the roof, and quick play the balls off the back of it, and us retreating in defence, holding on for grim life. And then players, as they get worn out, start to make selfish or individual decisions which lead to points against us. That's what's going to happen. You know, we don't have, if they don't improve, that's the reality of the situation. They have to improve. I believe they will improve. But that's the reality in the middle. While they can hold parity in the middle, if they can do that, they can hold their own. If that first hit up can generate some speed for the second and for the third, we have the players and the size and the speed and the skill on either edge to run in points and score points. If we can contain their middle for set after set after set, not just set one or set two, and do it for longer periods of time, our edge has enough speed, size, and I believe connectivity and understanding and cohesion, especially when we look at the left edge, which will go back to why I believe we should select a certain team that has Stephen Crichton at left centre, Matt Burton at left on the, playing 5'8", Josh Adokar on the wing, and Viliami Kikau. Now, to me, that's a Penrith left edge with Josh Adokar. It's an all-star left edge. And for me, it's defensively going to do some really good stuff. But like any edge, if that middle starts getting cracked and they're retreating, and they don't know if they've got to slide or move in, and players start not working together, which is what happens when you're under fatigue and under pressure, they'll be like any other left edge in the competition. And, they've named Stephen Crichton one of the best centres in the world, best defensive centres in the world. I think his defence was outstanding last year. He made numerous good decisions, especially in the Origin arena, which was important. But he too will be exposed. Any centre in the game gets exposed when their bookends don't hold up the middle. It's just a reality. I don't know, you can have great defensive centres. Will Hopewadi was a good defensive centre, but he was easily outpaced and exposed when our middle couldn't hold up and gaps started to appear, because it's just the way it is. It's rugby league and the way they play it. Anyway, that's just my little lesson for those who know or care. That's how I see the game and read the game, and that's how I enjoy the game. And you go and watch teams that win and teams that lose. once they get that ascendancy in the middle, for the most part, it's just a matter of working those plays until they line up the numbers, put teams under pressure, and good defensive players can look really, really ordinary under fatigue and under pressure, because that's just what happens. The teams that have been best at keeping their energy throughout the season, having a good run with injuries, playing at night time often, getting good breaks between games, they're the teams that you find last longer in matches as well, and are able to defend for longer periods. It's all relative. Every time you sweat in a game of rugby league, you lose something that has to be replenished. And the more you're having to replenish, the more work your body's doing. The more work your body's doing, the harder it is for your body to maintain itself over the season. It's all relative. If one team's playing lots of games that are or having lots of 5-day turnarounds, it's 6-day turnarounds, playing in the hottest part of the day, in hot conditions, where you got teams playing in the cooler weather often at night under different conditions, one team's going to sweat more than the other. It's just the way it is. If you lose more sweat, you've got to replenish more. You've got to recover more. They don't talk about this stuff enough, but it's important. And with our draw this year, something's just fallen down. Wonder what it was. Might have been in the background there. I'm going to have to check that out. Probably my guitar. Better not have been my guitar. My guitar's sacred. Anyway. It's got a Bulldog sticker on it. I think it was my guitar. No, it wasn't. Just couldn't see it because of my big head. Anyway, the mystery. We need our big boys to do a good job. Addin Fonua-Blake. We're out of the running for him. Now, we all know that Addin Fonua-Blake is a mercenary. Addin Fonua-Blake has left, I think, every contract he's left early, from what I can tell. He's not someone that can be controlled. Obviously loves his family. Is a leader in his club. He's well respected. And he's a true man, a true leader, and a true enforcer. He's experienced, and he would look really good in a Bulldogs jersey. But is he a mercenary? What if the Bulldogs and Gus Gould have pulled out of the race for Addin Fonua-Blake? It's because they believe, I would say it would have to do with the discussions that they've had and what they've felt and weighed up. And if it's got to be ratified by the board, I'm pretty sure as well. So if they come and said that their recommendation is that we don't prolong the chase for Addin Fonua-Blake at this period of time, I back them on that. Because to me, that would suggest that the things that he has said hasn't aligned with the vision of the Bulldogs, where the Bulldogs want to go. If it is all true, by the way, if this is all true, I think it'll have nothing to do with salary cap, unless they have their eyes on some other prop forwards and potentially on an experienced half like Jerome Luai. So Addin Fonua-Blake can offload, can step, doesn't miss tackles. You know, he's a very, very good player. And he's proven. He's susceptible to injury, as all big blokes are. He's going to command, I think, between 1.1 and 1.3 million a season, unless he can get some sort of really long-term deal. I think a 3-year deal would have been good for Addin Fonua-Blake. At $1 million, I would have been happy to pay that for him to come to the club. I think he would do well for. It would be considered a win by detractors of the board and detractors of Gus Gould and Cameron Serrato. They would be happy with that signing, and it would give them confidence. Okay. But, as I said, is he a mercenary? Has he said the things to them which are going to make them feel confident that he's going to stick around for the period of his contract? It's one thing to sign for 4 years. If you want to leave after 2 or 3 because you can get more money elsewhere. The age, I think he'll be 30 years old next year. If he's wanting a 4-year deal, 34 years old, I just don't know if it aligns. I just don't know. If we could have got him this year, if he left early and come this year, I think that would have been a much more preferable scenario. Next year, there's so much that can happen. He could get injured. Who knows? But maybe we've dodged a bullet there as well. I just believe they wouldn't pull out of the race unless there was something about that they seen that they didn't like in their negotiations, or just something with what he's wanting or he's bringing to the table that doesn't align with what the club is saying it wants and needs at the time. And if there's any doubts, you just can't do it. It's too. You've got to be all in when you make a big purchase like that, and he would be our marquee player. Stephen Crichton currently is, and the amount of money he's on, Viliami Kikau, Matt Burton, but they're actually the second tier in their salary. There's a tier above that. It's called the $1 million man, and we don't have any. Right. So who are some of the others that are off contract? So there's Braden Hamlin-Uele. Also had some knee injuries, a big body, but if you watch the work he does, very similar player to Addin Fonua-Blake. Probably not quite as good, but he's definitely a top 8 prop. He's definitely would be the best prop in our team if we brought him to the club. I don't think he'd be on huge money. I think we would be paying $500,000 to him to come to our club. I don't think Cronulla would be interested in paying him that sort of money. And they've also got Tom Hazelton, who they need to look at as well, and other youngsters coming through the system. And they're looking at Addin Fonua-Blake. So they've just extended Toby Rudolph. They've got Brett Nakora. They've got to look at the old brigade. Obviously, Wade Graham's left. Dale Finucane will be up soon as well. You'd expect he'll be be looking at retirement or a year-by-year sort of contract situation when his contract finishes as well. So they've got some sort of the timing's right for them, but I think they're going to have to release one of their guys. The other big one was Royce Hunt, who's sort of their pack leader now. It's between him and Rudolph as to who leads the pack. Hamlin-Uele, not far off those two. I really like him. I'd definitely have him. I think he'd be a good signing for the Bulldogs. But the one that I'm really got my heart set on is Terrell May. Now, the reason being is that when Terrell May played this year for the Roosters, he gradually increased his minutes. He gradually got more and more minutes and had to take on more and more responsibility. And there's no greater responsibility when Jared Waerea-Hargreaves was suspended in the crunch end of the season, and the Roosters played some good football, and he was the one out there with Lindsay Collins. And they also had Fletcher Baker. Now, for me, Terrell May, his numbers were amazing for what he did. So let's have a look at him. We've looked at him before, but we'll have another look at him now as well. So I might even find some But look, he's born in 1999, so he'll be 25 in April, or 26 even. I think 25. 183 centimetres tall. So he's not huge, and 108 kilos. But he's mobile, plays above his weight. Only 26 appearances, 17 games last year. Tackle efficiency really strong, what you want. Averaged 100 metres, but was off the bench a lot. But what you want to have a look at is in this run. So he played as an interchange player the entire season last year. But have a look at the minutes that he played. So not round 23, but round 22 against the Broncos, 55 minutes. Then round 24, 39, 41, 36, 51, 54, and 56. They should have beaten the Storm in that match. He had 6 tackle breaks in that match, 39 post-contact. 4 offloads, 21 receipts. Made 45 tackles, 131 metres. Does the kick return sometimes and goes all right. But look, mate, so in that semi-final, he just worked his ass off. And his post-contact meter is very, very good in all those periods where his minutes went up. 74 against the Dolphins. Bust tackles. Even made a line break against the Tigers. And can offload as well. You know, doing multiple per game. Against the Dolphins 2, against the Eels 3. As he had to play more responsible and more minutes, the offloads went away a little bit. Got one against the Sharks in the semi-final that they won. And 4 against the Storm in another close game that they lost right on the buzzer. Very good player. Very good player. And as I said, had to increase his minutes and take on that extra role because Jared Warrior-Hargraves wasn't there. So there you go. That's Terrell May. I think he's definitely one that we should be going after because he's got great upside and he's shown he can do it. You know, Chris Patolo's never played at that level in all of the games he's played at first grade. He's come off the interchange bench and had some impact on some games, and when he puts back-to-back games together, that impact tends to increase. But he's never played at that level of Terrell May. And Terrell May is basically in his rookie season last year. I think he started in 2022, made his debut. I think it said it back there. But that's what we're talking about, that sort of level. And we need the likes of Chris and the likes of Sam Hughes to go to that level in 2024. And I think Terrell May is going to add zeros onto his contract in 2024 as a Rooster. And I'm pretty sure they're going to want to keep him, and he's going to be tough to get across. Is there a chance that Penrith make a play for Terrell May? The Roosters took Spencer Leniu. They have a chance to get a player like Terrell May into their system. And I think they might be one which they've got these youngsters, Hoskins and Maverick Geyer and the like coming through, which are really good players. But I just don't know if they're at that level yet. So it's going to be interesting. They've got a lot of young juniors. So we will see. We will see. But I think the Bulldogs have got to make him a priority, Terrell May. Daniel Saifidi is another one. He's he was sort of going past his brother and doing better. But I think Jacob's wrestled it back. Daniel's had some injuries. But both very talented players. Jacob's just been extended. Daniel signed till 2026, I believe, the end of 2026. If there was a desire to let him go, I'd definitely be in the market. But I'm not sure if that ship is going to sail or if it has sailed. But if he was there, he's one you'd have to entertain as well. Now, looking at some of our youngsters coming through the system, you've got Isaac Mataleva Booth. I think he's a couple of years away. But in the couple of games he played in Flegg, he looked very good off the bench. Very hard to stop in that age group for the size that he is. Obviously, Lipboy Hotboy did really well throughout whenever he played in New South Wales Cup, when he played Flegg. He's one, I think, with a lot of upside, sort of in the mould of Chris Patolo. At the younger level, very, very good. Can he step up to the first grade level? It will remain to be seen. Jack Todd looks very likely, like that workman horse, tough, smart, good footwork, smart in the middle, gets through the work. One to keep an eye on. Obviously, Harrison Edwards, we've got him there. Hopefully, he'll keep evolving. Very, very good player. And young Damon Marshall. Now, Marshall, his tackling ability at that level is a standout, and he hits hard for a young guy. I felt he was a bit quiet in the Jersey Flegg grand final, but everyone stepped up in that game. But outside of that, I believe he's been one of our, he's a real standout. And he played well for Queensland in the under-19s state of origin. So there's some of the youngsters coming through. Sorry if I've missed some others there. I really like the Johansson brothers, but they're born, which is sad. And obviously Katoni Katoga is another one we've got to keep an eye on. He's a big Fijian boy, and he might be someone who evolves into a middle player. But and we've still got Raymond Fatala-Mariner in the squad and in the side, and he's had a year where he didn't do too much last year. Maybe he's going to be fresh and raring to go. Maybe he's got a big bee in his bonnet and he's fighting for his career and his survival, and maybe that'll bring the best out of him. Let's hope so. So, and then we can all get behind him again, which would be good, because he's been a loyal servant to the Bulldogs. All right. So before we go, I'm going to give you my predicted round one lineup. Here it is. Stephen Crichton, Jacob Carraz on the right wing with Drew Hutchinson right centre, Matt Burton at left centre with Josh Addo-Carr on the left wing, Blake Taff and Toby Sexton in the halves, Max King, Reid Marnie and Liam Knight in the front row, kick out left edge, Preston right edge, Josh Curran at lock, Kurt Mann, the utility, Ryan Sutton, Raymond Fatala-Mariner, and Jamin Salmon. That's how I believe we will start round one. That'll be my competition entry. I'll be still in the competition because I want to win. My preferred lineup, though, is Blake Taff at fullback, Jacob Carraz, Connor Tracy will apparently be fine, Stephen Crichton at left centre, Josh Addo-Carr left wing, Matty Burton, Toby Sexton, Max King, Reid Marnie, Liam Knight. Same forward pack, Billy Kickout, Preston, Josh Curran, Kurt Mann, Ryan Sutton, Sam Hughes, and Jamin Salmon. I'm hoping Sam Hughes is huge in the trials and has some confidence going in to round one. And you know what, I wouldn't mind putting Big Ray in there as well and keeping him there, but I think there's upside with Sam, and I'm just looking to have my gut feeling and what I would like. So that could change after we see some trials, but we're a long way out and trying to work things out. But obviously there's some thought that Drew Hutchinson might play in the halves, that Blake Wilson might get a start. you know, and then you've got the likes of Jake Turpin. Will he start off the bench? There's lots of ifs and buts. I think the forward pack's a little bit easier to work out because there's less depth there, but that back line is going to be one for a lot of debate. So what we'll do is just don't give us your best teams yet, unless you feel like it, you can. But we'll launch the competition the first week after they return from the Christmas break. It'll go for a week, and then you've got then we just have to wait it out and see on who the winner will be. And by then, I would have had Christmas and seen what merch if I got Santa brought me anything good from the Bulldogs point of view, and we will then see what you can choose from as one of the winning prizes. Australian only. I don't want to be paying, you know, $60 postage. But there you go. All right. That's it from me, pretty much. The dog father will be back soon. I've heard whispers that he'll be coming back. He's been, he hasn't been too happy. And I had a feeling he's the one who cut the deal with Addin Fonua-Blake. I've got a feeling he didn't like what he's seen when he met him. So we'll have to see what happened there. But I look forward to hearing what he's got to say in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Hard to get hold of is the old dog father. But that's it for me this week. Thanks to everyone who subscribed. It continues to go up. More and more people keep joining the channel, which is fantastic, and watching it, which is good, and getting nice feedback. So I'm really, really happy with that. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see some more people on this podcast again shortly. Lining things up at this time of year is really difficult, as you can imagine. So, but we will get some other heads. So on here as well. Dane he'll come back as well. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, very busy at the moment with work, so it's hard to line things up. Anyway, 32 minutes. Wasn't too long. Thanks for tuning in, and go the Dogs.